Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and I hope you're having a good New Year so far. Now, Scott Strossal wrote to us recently. He's featured many times on the channel, although only once in the last couple of years. And Scott had noted that Simon had been playing Queens on LinkedIn and did a puzzle based on it, I think. Or did a video based on it, that's right. And Scott said, you may be interested, I've created a Sudoku based on another LinkedIn game called Tango. Now, I've looked at the rules that are given as Tango rules, and they look awfully like what I used to call Binero. And I say used to because I've done, what, 2 puzzles themed with Binero rules? I think one of them, the last one was by LJC, I think, about 3 or 4 months ago. Anyway, Scott sent us this puzzle. It's a very neat setup with one each of the digits as givens and a few little cages, all adding up to 10 or 11. So I'm going to give it a go, and I will try and explain as I go what I'm thinking. That's what we do on the channel. It's a variant Sudoku, and that's what we do. If it is, I mean, I may have got this thing about Tango being the same as Binero wrong. Do let me know if you know both puzzle types. I don't. I mean, I'd never met Binero except in a Sudoku context. I've never met Tango except in a Sudoku context. So you'll just have to let me know. Anyway, I'll do the rules in a moment. Don't forget that Blobs' brilliant Hobbit Sudoku hunt is out on our Patreon, and you can have a go at that. 19 linked puzzles and a quest to get out alive and to find the ring and to cross the kingdoms. It is really all going on there, and there are many rivers and forests involved. It's great fun. Do check it out if you go to our Patreon. You can also see videos on connections and crosswords, other puzzles, Simon's long Sudoku solves, solution videos to past hunts, loads of stuff. We do try and keep you occupied. You probably don't need us to do that, but nonetheless, we're providing content all the time. And that is true of our apps as well, where there are sort of hundreds of brilliantly handcrafted puzzles by some of the best puzzle authors in the world, and even by us. And we urge you to give them a try. There is a killer Sudoku app, as well as our latest Fog of War, which is great as well. And then, of course, there's our merch and SVEN'S SUDOKU PAD, but you don't need me to tell you about that. You can look on the description field. I am going to do the rules to 2 to Tango by Scott Strossal now. Normal Sudoku rules apply. That involves placing 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every marked 3x3 box. Now, there are killer cages, which show their sums. It's impossible for digits to repeat in any of these killer cages. And the Tango rule is that no adjacent run of 3 cells, either horizontally or vertically, can be all odd or all even. So you couldn't have 3 odd cells there or 3 even cells there, which is an intriguing rule. It doesn't sound like it gives you very much at the start, but it can be really interesting when it interacts with other things in the puzzle, as we have found with the Binero puzzles in the past. I'm trying to remember who first introduced us to Binero. Might have been Panthera, and I might be wrong about that. Let's have a look at this. Give it a try on that first link under the video. I'm going to start now. Let's get cracking. So, the given digits, I'm going to colour them, because I think this puzzle is going to require colouring between even, which I'm going to put in blue, and odd, which I'm going to put in orange. Those are very standard colouring practices on the channel. Now, the first thing, I was hoping that we would have orange separated by orange by a cell, which I could then make blue according to the rule. That didn't happen. So instead, what I'm going to remark on is the fact that for all of the 10 cages, you either have 2 odd digits adding up to 10, or 2 even digits adding up to 10. I mean, it is a mathematical principle, but you can just do it with Sudoku digits. The odds would be 1 and 9, or 3 and 7. The evens would be 2 and 8, or 4 and 6. So what I'm going to do is not colour blue and orange. I'm going to choose some place to start and colour in a different colour. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to make this 10 cage yellow and the one next to it red. Now, I'm hoping to convert yellow into odd and red into even, or the other way round. But the reason that I know that they are different from each other is that otherwise those three would be the same in a row. In fact, now I've got two of the same parity, even though I don't know what the parity is in this row, I know that digit is the other parity, so that goes red. In an 11 cage, we've got to have one odd and one even digit to add up to 11, so that one goes the other colour, which is yellow. Now, what I was hoping this would do is give me some idea relating to the 4 and 8. Oh, well actually what I'm going to remark on first of all is that this 11 cage cannot be 4, 7 or 8, 3 because those digits are all used in the column. So it's either 5, 6 or 2, 9 in some order. It hasn't really got me where I was hoping to go, so I need to think of something else now. About this pair or this pair? Maybe I should have started with these two pairs or with these three. Yes, maybe I should. Okay, I'm going to find a 5th and a 6th colour. Let's do green and purple up at the top. So it's very similar principle. Green must be different from purple because these 10 cages must be a pair of the same colour. That must be purple to stop a run of 3. That must be green to stop a run of 3. And that must be purple because 11 must be made up of one of each. Okay, what it would be nice to come up with is a row, column or box where we had 5 of one colour, because that would have to be odd. Where can we look for that sort of thing? I don't know, and I'm not finding it. I don't really want to get... Well, I don't even know that I could do these in different colours. They might actually be the same colour, as long as they were surrounded... Ah, okay. Maybe this is where I should have started. All right, I'm going to use a 7th and an 8th colour, and go violet and grey. Now, how do I know that they're not the same colour? That is quite interesting. If they were, they would form a 2 by 2 block of the same colour, and that would have to be surrounded by the opposite colour in all of these places. And because one of those digits is orange, they would all have had to be orange, and we would have runs of 3 and 4 in row 8, for instance. So they must be different, and therefore they're surrounded by different, and those are surrounded by different, and these are in contradistinction to each other now. But what is it telling me about the overall composition of anything? I do not know the answer. Maybe one of these rows is, or columns or boxes is better than the others in telling me what I'm meant to be learning from this. Because I'm really not getting how I meant to start. That could be odd. It would be 3, 7. If that was even, it would have to be 2 and then 8. That would then be an even 4, and that would be 7. That would be 1, 9, 2, 8, 7, 4. That would be 6, and then we'd have 3 and 5 in the corners. I mean, it gets very prescribed if we manage to do almost anything, i.e. identify one of my new colours as blue or orange. This 11 cage is touching the 7, but 11 is not 2 of the same. 11 is 1 of each. Oh dear, dear, dear. If that was 2 and 8. Ah, okay, that's quite interesting. So if that was even, that would be 3 even digits. Everything else, apart from one cell in the box, would be odd. and there'd be threatening runs of 3 there and there, which could only be stopped there by a 6. So if that's even, that cell's even. Okay, this is what I have to do, is to find where runs are threatened. It's very, very weird means of expression. Yeah, but I mean, it seems to work here for that, unlikely as it is for that to be even. So, coming down this central column, I have one of each there, one of each there. Perfect, this is it. One of each there includes an even digit, one of each there includes an even digit. That's 2 even digits. There's a third and there's a fourth. Everything else in the column is odd, including this cell and this cell. So I've just discovered that purple is odd and I'm turning it orange. Green is even and I'm turning it blue. That one is orange. Okay, can I get anything more done as a result of that? The trouble is, this was quite restricted if it was even. It's less restricted if it's odd. It's either a 1-9 cage or a 3-7 in a certain order. This is even. If it is 6-4, I know where the 4 goes. If it is 2-8, I know where the 2 goes. So there are only 2 possible fills there. Now this digit, this cage is not 6-5, but after that I don't really know. At least we found something. Now, can I do something like that again, since that worked there? In this column, sorry, column 8, I've got one of each there. Don't know. There must be some way of working this out. Of just figuring out what the alternation is somewhere. It could be. Okay, so we've got 2 evens in this box and 2 odds. These remaining cells are 3 odd and 2 even. I mean, these can't both be odd. Is that of any value as an observation? I don't think so. At least one of those is even. And it could even be both of these being even, so it doesn't feel like that was any use. This digit can't be a 5, but I already knew the cage couldn't be a 5-6. Wow, okay, my big advance didn't really advance me very far as I can see, so I'm going to have to think of something else. Right. The top row had a lot of cages in, so this row has 2 cages and 2 parts of cages. Can I use it better than I've been using it so far? I've used 3 reds. If red was even, the other red would have to break up any potential runs of 3 and would be in one of those cells. If red was odd though, all I would know is that the evens couldn't come together here. And down here I've got, once that is coloured, if it's coloured violet, I don't know, violet could still be even. Oh, this box, we've got 2 of one colour. I don't know, yellow and violet don't have to be distinct from each other. Oh, that's 1 pair. And then we've got an odd digit. So that's 2 odds and an even between them. Then you've got another odd and even. That's 3 odd and 2 even. Then you've got this cell and these other 3 to be 2 of each. I don't know. I'm at a bit of a loss as to how to proceed. Oh, that can't be 9-1. If that was odd, it would be 3-7. That would be even. Oh no, maybe let's have a look at this cage, which can't be 7-4 because of the 7. I don't know. Can this be 7-4? Yes, is the basic answer. Or do I need to study this one again? That's definitely odd and not 3. That's very unhelpful. I'm sorry, I'm being very dense. What is the way that we progress here? So in the top row now, I've got 4 odd and 3 even. The remaining are 1 of each. Or do I look down here? If these were both the same, they couldn't be odd. They would both be even. It doesn't know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a different question from any that I've asked to see if it actually helps. And I haven't really come up with anything useful yet, as you see. I suppose both red and grey can't be even, or that would be 3 of 1 in that column. So 1 of red or grey is odd. Is that any help? Not to me. If it helps you, brilliant. Shout at me what you've learned. By Sudoku, this is 3, 4, 5 or 6, and this one is 1, 2, 3 or 4. If it was 1 or 3, we would have 2 odds here. And is that a problem? You'd have to have evens here and here. I don't see the problem at all. We've only got 1 even to place in this row. But there's no threat to form an odd. In fact, there's no threat to form anything in the row. So that probably is not where to be looking at all. There is no possibility of creating 3 odds or 3 evens in that row. Yellow and violet. Do they need to be separated by a specific parity of digit? Or, if these 2 were red, that's quite interesting. It's not, because I was thinking if they were red and even, you'd know, interestingly, that the other even digit was somewhere up here, but we don't know there's only 3 reds. Or only 4 reds in a column, because I don't know what colour, what parity red is yet. I say yet as though I'm still... Oh, it's obvious. Good Lord, look at this. Orange, orange, purple. Purple can't be... Oh, this violet can't be orange. I'm sorry, that's so blatant, it's ridiculous. Almost invalidates the whole video for having been so stupid as me not to notice that yet. But anyway, it doesn't. I'm going to carry on. Now, this is even, so that is 2, 4, 6. This is 4, 6, or 8. Now, have we created any threats? Not really. I mean, that's the trouble. But these are quite limited in terms of their scope, what they could be. If that was even, both of those would be odd. I mean, it does. You can do quite a lot of consequential things. If that was odd, red would be even and would appear in all of these cells. Whereas if this is odd, that has to be even. I hope it's not still as blindingly obvious as last time, when that was poundingly, painfully, patently clear. Probably is. What am I missing that's so clear to everyone else by now? If that was odd, that would have to be even. And that would have to be odd. Wow, I'm really not getting it. It says something about 8 in the second row. Is it constrained? It can't be. It is possible, I think, for this to be even, as long as all of these are then odd. Or does that cause problems somewhere that I haven't understood? Maybe in box 6. Whatever this is a different colour to that one. Okay, what happens if that's odd? Then both of those, if that's odd, both of these are even to stop it forming a 3 by 3, and that's odd. If that's even, everything else in the row is odd. So this is always odd. I mean, that's not as easy as the previous deduction. It isn't. That's harder. It may not be very hard, but it's definitely harder. Now, if that was a pair of odds, it would have to be 3 and 7, and this would be 5 and 1. Oh, in fact, I've only just noticed 5 in this box is in one of those two cells. 5 can never be in a 10 cage. And 5's in one of those two. I really hadn't noticed this before. And 5 is in one of those cells because it's never in a 10 cage. The 5 in the top row is in one of those two. This is now neither a 5-6 cage nor a 2-9 cage. It's either 4-7 or 3-8. One of the ways round of 4-7 doesn't work. I mean, I'm going to be very irritated if I've just been failing to pick up on placing 5 being a relatively straightforward thing to do. Which it is in a way, but it's not something I've been looking for at all. I think I may have run out. If that had been even, then that would have had to be 5, and that would be very interesting. If that was even, this is 5, and that's odd, and this is a pair that add up to 10. This is one of each, so it includes the third even. So if that was even, all of these would be odd. Oh, so if that's, no, that was based on this being even. I was for next thinking if that's even, this has to be odd to break up a run of 3. But if that's even, all of these are odd, then I can start doing quite a bit. I think there is going to be a huge tipping point in this puzzle. As soon as I see how to proceed, I think we're going to colour the grid almost completely quite quickly and then do the numbers fairly quickly. But I have to get to that point first of all where we can actually see how to proceed. That has not occurred yet. Okay, I did think about this being odd, but what if that is double even? Then there's a third even here. Then one of these two is even and is threatening to form a 3-cell column. I don't know. Okay, let's go back to box 1. If that is odd, that's even. Then you've got these 3 evens. You certainly haven't got any threats of 3 odd immediately in the box. If that's even, that has to be odd. If that's odd, that has to be even, and 5 has to go there. I'm not asking the right question. I don't know what the right question is, or I would be asking it. What on earth am I meant to be doing at this point? If they were, if they were odd, this would have to be a different makeup to this cage. You'd actually get a 1-3 pair in those cells. Is there anything interesting about that prospect? Oh, this can't be double odd, of course, because it forms an odd with that one. So as soon as I got that, I could have filled this in as double even. Then that's odd to prevent a 3 bow, a 3 column. I mean, that's so straightforward. That really is absolute Sudoku 101, and I couldn't still see it. Now, we've got 2 even there. If we had 2 evens up here, that would be no good. These would all be odd. So there's a maximum 1 even amongst these cells. Sorry, there's a minimum 1 even and a maximum 1 even. Is that right? That's quite weird. Am I getting that right? There's got to be at least 1 of these even, otherwise all 3 would be odd. And if there were 2 even there, these 3 would be odd. It is definitely right. So there is exactly 1 even and 2 odd here. So the remainder here is 2 odds and 1 even. Definitely. And one of the odds is a 5. If this is definitely exactly 2 odds and 1 even, which I did work out, then this is 1 of each. And therefore this cell is yellow. Now I've got 2 reds and 2 yellows, which is 2 of each, plus 3 more oranges, and this is even. I mean, it's doable. It's just I'm not understanding how I'm doing it even. So I've got to find little pairs to isolate. That's the way to go forward somehow. Down here, we've already got 3 evens. We've only got 1 more to go. It can't be here, or that would be 3 odds. Oh, in fact, that even has to break up that 3 odd and that 3 odd possibility, so it has to be at the junction. I mean, it is doable, it's just I don't understand it. Now I've got 2 odds there and that's even. Now, this one could be either without real difficulty. This sees 1, 3, 5 and 9. That's a digit. I've got a digit in the puzzle, guys, 25 minutes in. I don't think it's meant to be this hard, but I do think I'm a numpty. Now, that is even. 2, 4, 2, 8, or 4, 6. And that's a pair. There's a 9 to come somewhere here. That's even. This is odd. This row, no, it's not interesting. This column, I can count 3 evens and 4 odds, so that's different from red and is yellow. Now, if that was yellow, we'd get an awful lot of red around here very instantly. And it's interesting. Okay, if that was yellow and they were both red, which would have to happen, you'd have all 4 evens in the box, and those 2 would be odd. Whether yellow or red was even, those 2 would both be odd. But this could be not yellow. This could be red. Then I think fewer deductions flow, let's say. If these are odd, they have to be a 3-7 pair. But if that's odd, it's 1, 3, or 5. Well, it's not 5. It's 1 or 3 if it's odd. No, I'm still not grasping what I can do to make this easier. Maybe I use this cage, this box, where I've got 3 odds and 2 evens. So I've got 2 of each to come. What am I going to do with the 2 of each to come? Oh, I've only got 1 even left in this row. And it's got to prevent that being 3 odds and that being 3 odds. So that even is in one of those 2 cells. And these other 2 are definitely odd. It's so strange that that is just true and provable without great difficulty, and yet I don't find it easy at all to do that proving. Okay, let's look at this column where I've got 2 evens already locked in there. If I made that even, the only place for the other even in the column would have to be here, and all yellow would be odd. And red would be even. So it's difficult for this to be even. But on the other hand, if it's odd, that becomes, both of those become even. If this is odd, both of these are even. And then oh, that's interesting. Then the other even in this column would have to be there to break up any run of 3. So either that's odd, either that's even, and where was it? Here has to be even, or they're both even and here has to be even. So one of those 2 is definitely even, maybe both. Wow, I don't find this easy. If the yellow was even, this would be even, that would have to be odd to break up a possible string of 3. Now if that was odd and this was even, we'd have the 3 evens. Red would be odd. The last even digit here would have to both break up that potential run of 3 and that one. So it would be in one of those 2 cells. That would be odd. So red would be odd. We'd have those 4 odds already placed. And a 5th one to come in the row. I don't know. I don't see how that yields anything. I'm not getting it, and I'm not expecting to get it. Maybe it's something like this pair adds up to 10, because that pair adds up to 10, and that leaves 2 even digits that add up to 10. Or there's a 9 in one of those cells. So one of these 3 is a 9. What does that possibly do? And the answer is nothing. I still think I might be missing a trick with this. If they, well, okay, that is all one colour. Let's go with green and grey. I can't remember if that was a pairing I used before. That green has to be surrounded by 2 greys. I mean, I could have done that a long time ago, but I don't know how these colours map to anything, obviously. Does that mean, if grey was the same, if grey was odd, look, we'd have 2 runs of 2 going north-south, so all of these cells would be even. And would we survive that kind of onslaught if grey was odd and green was even? All the cells I've got marked would have to be even. Can't see the problem, I'm afraid. Or do we look down column 1 where there's one of each there? No, I don't know anything about grey here. Goodness me, I don't find this easy at all. If that's a 6-4 pair, then 4's no, that's not true. Okay, think of something else, Mark. Try and come up with something new that might help. This 11 cage is one of each. And we've already got one of each in the column, so that's 2 of each between them. And the remainders are 3 odds and 2 evens. Oh, we've already got 4 odds in this box. So of these remaining cells, 2 are even and 1 only is odd. What does that mean? Does that mean anything at all? I'm going to get back to my weird conclusion that either that or that is even or both. And it's still not going to help me. Wow, I'm at C here. Is it utterly blatant and I just can't see it? If yellow is odd, that would be 1 or 3. That would be 7 or 9. That would give me a 7-9 pair here. That's surprising in some ways. I don't think it solves anything, but it's quite interesting. This digit is 2 or 6. That's very clear by Sudoku. Just don't see. I mean, these patterns are very useful. This is a sort of staircase pattern. They're very useful because they avoid binero breaks or tango breaks. But I do not see how we actually use them to positively fill digits. You know, I'd love to posit that this is a blue staircase, and it might be, but I don't know why it doesn't have to be. If that was orange, this cell is blue. And if yellow was blue, this is always different from this. On the grounds that if yellow is blue, that's the 4th blue in its column, and these are both orange. But if yellow is orange, that needs to be different, because otherwise you get a run of 3. So that is always red. I don't really want to be colouring in red and yellow. I want to be colouring in blue and orange. But now I can count this column. That's 1 of each. And apart from that, we've got 3 of each, so that's odd. I mean, these things are available. I just can't do them because I'm a nut. I mean, has that taught me anything useful? I guess this is 1, 3 or 5. This one is not allowed to be 1 because it's in an 11 cage. So 3, 7 or 9, that is 8, 4 or 2. I knew it was even. I know it even more now. If that was a 3, 7 pair, that's a 9. In this box at the moment we have 2 odds, 2 evens, 1 more of each is 3 of each. I've worked out before this is 2 odds and an even down that column. If that was even, this is odd, and then we've got 2 odds in a row and green would be even. No, useless. I was just going to observe that 2 and 6 are used up in the central column, but since they're the remaining even digits, that was fairly obvious. Honestly, it feels like I've missed a rule or something. I just cannot see how to advance this. Okay, if that was yellow, all of these would be red. And then what? What goes on after that? If that's 1 of each, that can't be blue if yellow is blue. Okay, if that's blue, then we've got 2 threatened 3s, and those are both orange. So if that's blue, that's the 4th blue. That's no good. Right, if that's blue, things go wrong. Because you have to put... If this is blue, I'm claiming things go wrong. Because yellow has to be orange to stop that being a 3. And then that's blue, and that's all 4 blues, because that's different from yellow, and then those are 3 oranges. So, that is not blue, that is orange. It's not going to do anything. I hate writing the numbers in, because I've been misled by the numbers into thinking they might do anything. I have to do the colouring first. Anyway, now here we've got 2 orange and 2 blue, and 1 of each. So this set is 2 orange and a blue, which is not helpful particularly. The blue can't be here, or else that would be a run of 3 oranges. So that's an orange. And what does that lead to, sir? One of those, they're 1 of each now to bring the count up, so I could make that green. And in this column, we've got 1 of each there, so we're up to 3 orange and 2 blue, suggesting that these are going to be dominoes. Yes, neither of them can be double orange, so they must be 1 of each. I'm going to mark them like that because this might help with the count slightly. If that's a domino, well, there has to be a blue here. This will do it. I mean, it's very hard. There has to be a blue here, otherwise this would be 3 orange. So the 4th blue in the box is there. There's 1 here, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 here. And that now is orange, and that gives us the colour of yellow, which is orange. Red is blue. Now I'm down to this colour that still needs resolving. But anyway, this is now 2 or 6. This is 5 or 9. Down here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5th orange there. So that's blue. Helpful? Not. I mean, it is all this conditional stuff. Right. They can't both be orange. That's absolutely obvious and not worth saying that they can't both be blue. That was obvious before as well. We've got orange here. This row is 3 orange and 3 blue. So this bit of the row is 2 orange and 1 blue. With that one, we're on 3 orange and 1 blue. If that was blue, no, with that we're on 3 orange and 1 blue. If green was orange, these would all be blue. That's what I was getting to. And then that would be orange. That would be blue to avoid a 3 by 3 being possible in the box. It really is a lot of the time about avoiding having a run of 3 in the box. Maybe I should have been thinking about this in terms of pentominoes and avoiding having certain pentomino shapes in the boxes, but that's too complicated for me. 7 in this box is in one of those cells by Sudoku. So 7 in box, 5's in one of those two. That is 1 or 3. That is 7 or 9. That's a 1-3 pair. That's where 5 goes. Oh, that's so blatant. I did the pencil marking to establish once I knew which one of those was, which one was a 5, and I never capitalized on it. So 5's in one of those cells. Not useful yet. Got the 2-6 pair here. Everything else is from 1, 5, 7, 9. That one's not allowed to be a 7 because 7's in one of these cells. This pair adds up to 10, so this can't be a 4. Now this can't be a 6. Again, it would astonish me if we got to the end of this by numbers first from this point, but it may happen. 2 orange and a blue there. No threats to form a 3. Those can both be orange. If these were all blue, what would happen? We'd need the 4th blue in the row to be in one of these 3, and that would be orange. I don't see, well, that would happen if the 8 in row 2 was in any of those cells. That would become orange. Can't really use that. Oh, I've got 7-9 pair here, which rules 9 out of that cell. So this one is 7 or 9. That's 5 or 9. That's 1, 5 or 9. I mean, again, this might suddenly yield something doing it this way, but it will astonish me if it does. That is not a 7-4 pair. If green was orange, wow, we'd get a lot of blue around here. A lot of blue would go into various cells. If green was orange, all those ones I've highlighted would be blue. Oh, here's something slightly interesting. One of these two is a double orange, needing a blue here to cap it off. So at least one of these is blue. And that's blue, and at least one of those is blue in the column. That's 3 of the blues. That's one of each. That doesn't do anything. Okay, go back to this row, which has still 1 blue and 2 oranges. Right, that one cannot be the blue, because then they would be 3 oranges. So that's orange. Now, it doesn't inform this cage at all. Although, on the other hand, we've got 2 oranges in this box. If they were orange, then 3 of these would be blue along with that. I don't know. That's not doing anything either. It's very difficult to keep going in this. I don't know what I'm meant to be looking at. These could both be blue, and one there is 3, and one here. Yeah, and the point is we have to keep breaking up any possible runs of 3 orange. So one of those 2 is blue. One of those 2. Well, it could be both of those 2. That's the trouble here. If that, well, that's interesting. If that was orange, this would be blue. Oh, but it wouldn't be the 4th in the row. I want to say this can't be blue, but I haven't got the right. If grey was orange, these would both be blue in column 1. And we'd have blue in all of these positions. Yeah, that's interesting. So one of those 2 at least is blue. If both of those were blue, there'd only be one more blue in the box. It would have to be in the top row. So if both of those were blue, that would be blue to stop runs of orange in the column. And one of those 2 would be blue. Now there'd also be one of these 2, because otherwise you'd have 3 oranges running north. And there's also blue there. So if that was blue, this cell would become orange. But if this is orange, these are blue, and that's blue. If this is orange, you've got blue in all of those cells. Just don't know. I can't find any double patterns with one version and the other that leaves something else constant. And that very much may be key to this. If that was orange, it would be 9. And we'd have blues in all of these positions. And what does it do? It doesn't shake my hand and tell me I've done well, does it? No, I am really struggling here. That's a 1-3 pair. So these are from 2, 4, 6, 8. It might be about pairs. That's such a weird thought. That's a pair that add to 10. If they were 4, 6, you'd have 2, 8, 2. That would break. That's so interesting. If that was 4, 6, you'd have 2 there, 8 there, 2 there, 6 there, looking at 4, 6. So that must be 2, 8. I mean, incredible if I have to do this by numbers. That's just not what I was expecting. That's a 6. Look, this is a 5. This is actually carrying on a little. It's going to stop in a moment, but it will have done something by the time it does. One of these 2 is a 4, and it can't be there. It's math. It's Sudoku combined with Binero. This is very clever, Scott. That is not 4 now. That's blue. So the count in this row requires that to be orange. The count in the 11 cage requires that to be blue. This orange digit is not 7 or 1. It's 3, 5 or 9. This is, it can't be 9 because we can't put 2 here. This is 6 or 8. Now, there's a 4 or 8 in that cage and a 4 or 8 there. This is a 6. That's 5. 2, 8. Goodness gracious. So, even, 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 and another even there. All of these are odd. In the top row, that is even. That's the 4th even in its column. Those are odd. Have I suddenly reached the tipping point I wanted? I doubt it, but let's see. Because I didn't do it by colours, I did it by numbers. So strange. I'm feeling quite weirded out by the whole puzzle. That 6 has made this a 2. Though that pair sees 2 and 4. There is a 4 in one of those cells. And again, this just can't be doing enough to fill in this. Oh look, this sees 2, 4 and 6. Maybe it can. That's a 2. One of those is 4 or 6. If it's a 6, it's there. If it's a 4, it's there. That is 1, 7 or 9. Still got to find the 9 in this row. Oh no, 8 there is fixing 2 and 8 in the box. That's a 2 because it sees a 4, 6 pair below. That's not 2 and 9. Indeed, this is now 6 and that's 4. This is 8 and 3. I can't believe this is coming together this way. I would have told you you were wrong if you said, I think this is likely to come together with Sudoku and numbers. And look, it's me who was wrong. That's a 9. This is a 4. That's a 1, 7 pair. I'm so astonished. This is not how this was meant to work. That is 2 or 3 because there's an 8 pair down here. That one annoyingly is 2, 3 or 8. Right, let's have a look down this column. Look, 4, 1, 6, 5, 7. Everything else is 2, 3, 8 or 9. Now in the box, that can't be 9 in the cage because this can't be 1. And it can't be 3 because that can't be 7. And suddenly I've discovered that green is even and grey is odd. That's just amazing. My mind is blown again. That's going to be 8. That's 2. That's a 3, 8, 9 triple with some... Look, just by elimination, this has become odd. That's even, and I think I know what number it is. Yes, it's a 6. 4, 6, 8, 6. That becomes a 9 by Sudoku, not by odd and even. That's an 8. So I can keep colouring down here. This is crazy. That's a 4 now. That's a 2. This is not even, it is odd. That's not 9. In fact, that's a 1, and this is a 7. 5 and 1. I mean, I literally am going to finish off now in just a stupor of, I can't believe this is happening. 5 and 4 down there. I'm just going to get these numbers and then fill in the colours. This is 1 or 6, but I must be able to count the colours in the column in a second. That's blue. Oh, I haven't done these actually, so maybe I must be able to count the colours in the box. That's blue, so it's 6. It's just Sudoku. Oh! I know it's more often Simon who's accused of being surprised to do Sudoku in a Sudoku puzzle. I got so certain about the setup of this puzzle and the fact that we would be colouring the whole grid before we did almost any numbers. And I've been made to look a bit of a dummy. And I don't mind that, it's quite amusing, but well done, Scott. What an extraordinary puzzle. That's just blown my mind. There we go with the colouring. Okay, that's an 8. Got 3 and 7 to put in. First 6 rows all fully complete. This is a 9, 3 pair. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight. Okay, we get 7 and 5 and we finish, finally. 56 minutes, that really shouldn't take that long, but I really was impressed by the puzzle. That's tough stuff. Well done, Scott. I mean, I basically think you beat me there. It's so clever. It's so difficult. Maybe it shouldn't be. I mean, if people start posting, took me 12 minutes, no problem. Don't know what was holding you up. I shall just cringe in embarrassment in the corner, which is maybe where you'll find me tomorrow with the 3. Bye for now.